Hello, today's video is all about beginner candle making equipment. So in today's video, we're going to talk about some of the basic equipment that you need to start making candles. So let's get started. So today we have a box of beginner candle making supplies right here, and we're going to go through and talk about just the basic equipment that you need if you want to start making candles, if you're doing it as a hobby, or maybe you want to start your own company. We're going to talk about the absolute standard basic materials that you need to build a candle. So let's go ahead and jump in the box.
Yeah.
So what do you need first, babe?
Our first one is a vessel.
A vessel. Got a couple vessels right here. Here's one.
So a vessel is basically anything that you make a candle in, whether it's metal tins like this, or jars like this, or even mason jars. It's something, because you need something to put your candle in.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So metal tins you can get in all different shapes and sizes. Mason jars you can get all different shapes and sizes. I mean, you could do like a bowl if you wanted to.
Yeah, you can
like
do a
there's
bowl.
lots of different vessels, but number one is a vessel.
Cool. What's next, babe?
The second one is wax.
Wax.
So
Right
obviously, in order to make a candle, you need wax. So we have a video that we did a couple weeks ago that talks all about wax and how to choose the right wax. So you can just refer back to that video on how to pick your perfect wax. The next thing you need is a wick.
Wick. Here we go. You got a bag full of wicks.
Big bag of wicks. And we also have a video that talks all about wicks. So you can also go back to refer to that video that talks about how to choose the right wick.
Yeah.
So then the next item that you need is a wick sticker or a wick holder.
Wick sticker, wick holder.
Well, we use wick stickers. So it's these little circles. One side has a paper side, the other has a sticky side. You stick the wick on it, stick it to
Pull
your
out a wick, babe.
jar.
Let's show them. Let's show them how it goes down.
Give them an example. So they're really simple. So you take your wick, and then
let's just do it a little ghetto way. Really.
Oh, you could
Just gonna rip it off like that. There you go.
So then you have your wick sticker, and then you peel it off of the paper, and then you stick it right here onto the bottom of your wick. And then when you have your vessel, you
stick it on the tin vessel.
Okay.
Let's show them how it's done.
So then we're gonna use this guy. So you peel the paper off, and then I'm gonna try to do this so everyone can see. And then you just stick it right there in the middle, and then to firmly place it, just press it down for a couple seconds, and then you're good.
Yeah.
You could also use a hot glue gun on the bottom of the wick. Just put a little dot, and then also press it down firmly onto your vessel. You could also use like other types of adhesive.
Yeah.
Not like regular glue, because that won't work. But the stronger adhesives would work. We just like wick stickers because they're easy and they're not messy.
Yeah.
And you just shove it on, stick it there, and call it good.
One thing about glue dots, though, is that depending on the type of wax you have or fragrance, we've never experienced this, but we've read in some forums and we've heard from some YouTubers that the glue dots could potentially melt.
Oh yeah, especially if your wax is like really, really hot when you're pouring it in. Yeah, and then your glue melts and your wick isn't sturdy, and that's not good.
Yeah, we haven't faced that though, but the wick stickers have been working great for us.
Perfectly. The next thing is a Wick Center. So there's a couple different options you can use. You can use a popsicle stick. So this is just a popsicle stick, and we just drilled the hole through the center because it's easy, and popsicle sticks are really inexpensive. But it's simple, so you just take your wick and your vessel, stick it through the middle, and then put it like that so it keeps your wick centered.
Yeah.
You also could use a cotter pin. So these kind of work in the same way. They kind of just slide on the wick like that.
How do you do it?
I don't like using
She doesn't like using cotter pins, but I love using cotter pins because it keeps the wick nice and tight so it doesn't move around. And then, so you put it there, you move the wick over, You see that? You move the wick over, and then you could pour your wax whenever it's time to pour.
Yeah, so this one, I mean, they keep your wicks really steady. Because, yeah, I mean, this is heavy duty stuff, so you can also use that. You could also use some more of the, like, professional type wick setters. They're called, like, bow tie clips.
Yeah.
And there's a hole in the middle and these two little clips that kind of fold over the sides of your jars. Or you could use just a simple clothespin.
Yep.
And there's lots of different options you can use.
One more thing with the cotter pin is whenever you're doing a candle that requires 2 wicks, I love using these because it's easier to get the 2 wicks aligned, and you're able to move them over and get them really tight. So they just go straight down the middle or straight down wherever you're putting it. So
I can't see it.
there you go.
So the next thing that you need to make a candle is the fragrance oil. So you need fragrance oil, obviously, because you want your candles to smell good. And you also need something to measure your fragrance oil. So we use little paper cups. We've tried using plastic cups, but we found that the fragrance would like break down the plastic. And so if we let the fragrance sit there in the plastic cup for, I don't know, like 5-10 minutes, the plastic would start to like disintegrate in a way.
It would eat through it.
And so it was just kind of a mess. So paper cups to measure your fragrance oil is the best option. And fragrance oil you can get from a lot of different websites online, a lot of different manufacturers. We like California Candle Supply. Candle Science has really good ones. The Flaming Candle has some. There's lots of different websites that you can get really good fragrance oil from. The next thing is a thermometer. So you could use a candy thermometer like this, and this kind of just clips on to the side of your pitcher or measuring cup. You always want to be checking the temperature of your wax because if it gets too hot, it could burn out the fragrance oil, then your candle won't smell like anything. Yep. Or if it's not hot enough, then you could have problems when it sets.
Yep.
So always be checking the temperature.
I like this candy thermometer because it just clips right onto the side of the pouring pitcher, and then you can just come over and take a little glance, and you'll see like a little blue mercury line rising up and down. It's always good to check the temperature when you pour it as well, because the colder you pour it, the better the fragrance sets, right?
Yes. Sometimes, yeah, but also you don't want it to be too cold that it's like a hard rock and then you can't even pour it. So, yeah, always good to be checking. Or you could also use a thermometer like this. So this one, an infrared thermometer, we just got this off of like Amazon. They're really inexpensive, but they have the little laser and you just point it and you are 85 degrees.
Oh, I'm dead.
But you just stick it right into wherever you're melting, and then it's 100 and something degrees. So it's kind of cool, but
yeah,
either one of these works perfectly fine. The next thing you need is a pouring pitcher.
Dun, 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 dun.
So you need something to actually melt your wax. So this is a standard metal pouring pitcher.
Yes.
You can also get these off of Amazon or other candle supply websites. These metal pouring pitchers are good for the double boiler method. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically a small little pan filled with like 1 inch or 2 of water, and you just turn it on to like a medium low heat, and you have all your wax in here, and the pouring pitcher just kind of sits on top of the water. Yep. You never want the water in the pan to be boiling because it could burn the wax inside. You just want it at a low temperature, low simmer, and it'll kind of just melt on its own just from the residual heat. So these ones are really good. They hold a lot of wax. Yep. I mean, they're pretty big, pretty sturdy. Or you could also use a Pyrex or glass measuring cup like this one. So this one is good if you're putting it in the microwave. Yeah. Because that's another way you can melt down your wax. So you just pour all your wax in here, melt it on like 30-second spurts. You never want to melt it over like a minute, over 30 seconds. So don't
Right.
want to put it in for like a minute, because then your wax will get too hot and not have an even melt, and then that could be bad, because you don't want some of your wax to be really hot and then some's not hot enough. You want it to all melt at an even temperature.
Right. So what you're saying is put it in the microwave in 30-second intervals, and then check the temperature, stir it around, put it back in for another 30 seconds until it's all melted and to the temperature you need to pour the fragrance oil in.
Exactly. Yeah, so don't just stick it in the microwave, put
For
a
like
timer,
5 minutes,
like 2 minutes. Oh yeah, it'll melt down fine, and no, because that could lead to lots of issues later. Let me show you an example. So double boiler, here's your pan, just a regular saucepan. Fill it into water, and then you stick your pouring pitcher right like this. And then if you're using the candy thermometer, you can just clip it on like so. So then your thermometer is inside the pouring pitcher, so we can check the temperature of wax. Or if you get an infrared thermometer, as your wax is melting, you just stick it in like that, wait till it beeps, and then check the temperature like that. Pretty simple. So the next thing you need is a label. You obviously need a warning label somewhere on your jar, because you're dealing with safety here, because it's a fire and you don't want people's houses to burn down. So every candle you make needs to have a warning label on it. So you can get a roll of these, super inexpensive.
Yeah, they're really cheap.
Really cheap. Last you a long time, but it just has the basic, you know, fire safety, burn within sight, stuff like that.
There's 3 things that you need to have on every candle. Needs to have a warning label. We're not experts at this. We're still researching, still learning. And I'm sure in your state it might be different, but I think for the most part all the states are the same. You need to have something that says burn in sight. Keep away from children, and then there was one more thing.
Keep away from flammable objects.
Keep away from flammable objects. Yes.
Yeah. So wherever you get your warning labels from, they should already have that on there. Or if you want to somehow make your own warning labels, they need to have at least those 3 things on it. And then obviously if you're gonna sell your candles, then you need a label on the outside of your jar, saying like the fragrance,
where it's made,
the weight,
the net weight in grams and in ounces.
Yes, you have to have both of them. There's a couple other things that have to be on the label, but we can talk about that in...
Oh yeah, you have to actually say that what it is a candle. So that's something we have to work on with our label. As we're still learning and still growing, it has to say coconut wax candle. It can't just say coconut wax or soy wax. It has to say soy wax, and it has to say candle with it. So whoever's buying it, it's obviously a candle, but you just have to make it.
That's just the guidelines. Yeah. But we can go over all the other specifications in another video. So another thing that is really handy for making candles is a scale. So last week we talked about how you measure the wax and the fragrance oil to make one candle. So if you're making multiple candles, then you obviously multiply that by how many candles you made. But in order to find out how much, you need a scale, obviously, to weigh it out. So this scale, Amazon, super inexpensive. You know, you have different units of measurement. That's the right word. So there's like grams, pounds, ounces, all that stuff.
Tons.
And tons. But you know, like you have your pouring pitcher or your Pyrex pitcher full of wax, and you stick it on your scale, tear it out, and then it'll measure how much wax is inside. But it's really helpful to measure everything out. Even your Dixie cup with fragrance oil, you need to measure that out. So a scale is a must.
Yes.
The last thing is a source of heat. So we kind of talked about earlier. So obviously you need a stove or a hot plate if you're using the double boiler method, or a microwave if you're using it in a glass measuring cup. You need a microwave. You need a source of heat to melt your wax. Pretty simple. If you don't want to use a stove and you want to use a hot plate, you can find those on Amazon. lots of different places you can find it.
Yeah.
And then a bonus item, which you don't necessarily need, but it's kind of fun to have maybe later on in candle making, is a I have it is
dun, 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 dun. Oh.
heat gun. So this guy, well, obviously it's a heat gun. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like a hairdryer. So you plug it in, press a button, and it's like a heat comes out of it. But it's you can use it if you have any issues like with your wax. Like I know in our wax video we were talking about some issues that come up with soy wax. So like sinkholes or craters, you can fix those with a heat gun. You just kind of hold it over your vessel, melt it down a little bit, and then let it reharden. So again, you don't need this, but it's kind of fun to have if you're furthering your candle making journey.
It definitely helps the presentation of your candle, because when you pour it, it could like kind of solidify it uneven. So if you use this, you could kind of just wave it over on low power, and then it'll even out the surface and it'll look beautiful. Yeah,
so it's more for aesthetic reasons. But again, you don't need this, but it's really fun.
Don't use it as a blow dryer. Please don't use it as a blow dryer.
I said like a blow dryer, but it's not. Don't use it as a blow dryer. But you can find these where, like Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon, your local candle supply. We found this one at a thrift shop, actually.
Yeah, so, which was really
random, because we needed one and then we found one.
We found one. So I think that's about it.
That's it.
Is there any other supplies you can think of?
No, but I have one tip. This is great. This is great for measuring wax in grams. It's also done well measuring fragrance oil. I've heard a lot of people say that sometimes with these scales, when you measure like really light stuff like fragrance oil, it's kind of inaccurate. But for us, it's been totally accurate. A lot of people recommend a little gram scale to measure fragrance oil because it's so much lighter than wax. It hasn't been an issue with us, but that's just a little tip to keep in your back pocket. Yep. That's it.
That's it.
So earlier this week on our Instagram, we announced that we're doing a candle giveaway of one of our holiday candles, which is Cookies for Santa. And boy,
oh, it smells so good. Oh
my gosh, it smells. I don't even want to give this away, but I know that someone out there is going to benefit from it. So yeah, we did a giveaway. You had to just follow a couple of instructions, and we got your submissions in this pouring pitcher. And we want to thank you for participating, everyone. So we're going to pick our winner right now. So here we go. Dun, 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 dun. All right, just pick it.
Okay, stop. Just stop it.
Here we go.
Okay.
Who's it going to be?
Do you want me to read it?
Sure.
Do you want to read it?
You can read it.
Okay, and so our winner is Noah Robledo.
Yay. Cool.
Good job.
We'll be in contact with you. I'm glad that you're going to receive this.
Yep.
It really smells good.
It smells so good.
Gosh. So congratulations. Thank you everyone for participating. If you haven't followed us on Instagram, do so. The handle's right here.
Yep.
Follow us. We'll be doing more candle giveaways, also announcing more product launches and brand new candles. We're launching our website on November 11th, which is this Wednesday.
Week.
Monday, Tuesday. 3 days.
Yeah.
3 days.
Very exciting. Yeah, we've been working really hard on it. Lots of love and everything. Blood, sweat, and tears have been going into our relaunching of our website. We hope you really enjoy and love these candles as much as we love them.
Yep.
There's some really, really good scents this time around. Like really good scents.
Yeah, we did a lot of testing. We got a lot of feedback from people around us, honest feedback.
Yeah.
And we feel like we put together a great line for you guys that's going to really help out making your room, wherever you light it, smell fantastic, smell elegant, smell luxurious. And we're excited to see what you guys are going to say about them.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
thank you again. Yeah. We love you guys. Hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions about anything we talked about today or want to know where we got any of our supplies today, Put a comment in
the box below. Yeah.
Write us a comment. We'll answer your questions.
Yep.
Yeah, reach out to us. And again, we hope this was really helpful. And we love you guys. God bless. Bye.
Bye.